there are very few books, and positive ones, that aren't just, you know, by the book sort of medical documentations that are difficult to understand, or accounts of these people. But it's hard to find a very positive approach to living the rest of your life with a special needs kid. Now, we're obviously the exception because our kids are the only two in the entire world with the diagnosis they have. So be it. We had to pave half of our road by ourselves, but I really want first people to start out with the whole new adventure in their life with the note or essay I saw hanging in our geneticist's office. It's called Welcome to Holland, and it's by Emily Pearl Kingsley. I am often asked to describe the experience of raising a child with a disability, to try to help people who have not shared that unique experience, to understand it, to imagine how it would feel. It's like this. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks and you make your wonderful plans. The Colosseum, the Michelangelo David, the gondolas of Venice. You may learn some handy phrases in Italian. It's all very exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands. The stewardess comes in and says, "Welcome to Holland." Holland, you say? What do you mean Holland? I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life I've dreamed of going to Italy. But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence, famine, and disease. It's just a different place. So you must go out and buy new guidebooks, and you must learn a whole new language. And you will meet a whole new group of people you would never have met. It's just a different place. It's slower paced than Italy, less flashy than Italy. But after you've been there for a while, you catch your breath, you look around, and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills, and Holland has tulips. Holland even has Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they had. And for the rest of your life, you will say, "Yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned." And the pain of that will never, ever, ever, ever go away, because the loss of that dream is a very, very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't go to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland. I feel so lucky to have read that at such an early point in our adventure. And what I was able to do and have been able to do is enjoy our adventure and enjoy it like it is a vacation. Well, I'm not going to go as far as to say vacation. It is a trip, and it's a wonderful road trip. And a lot of people I know have a road and it's straight and it's good and it's fine, but it's straight. Ours is very, very bumpy. It's very, very curvy. But I wouldn't change the scenery, and I wouldn't change what I've learned from the trip. So I started filming because I was getting in a lot of trouble for being 15 minutes to a half hour late every single day to work, which it's a job. I understand that. I certainly should have been there on time, or maybe woken up around 4:30 every morning, but that didn't really work. So I started filming thinking, if I get fired for being late, I just want it documented that this is how my life operates. This is how it goes. So with that said, I started filming, and when I watched my life on camera and seeing how much time and effort it takes to just get, in all, you know, the one problem that takes so much time is the feeding tube. Here is Sandler's G-tube. It's out again. There are so many recent resources out there, and we've been so blessed because we've stumbled upon them. And what I want to do for people is help them figure out how to find these resources. As I said, you have these babies, even normal babies, and you leave the hospital and it's scary because you're not given a packet, but you are able to get a gazillion books for the normal child. But you're not given the straightforward packet. And you certainly aren't given the packet, nor are you given the option of a gazillion books when you have a special need child or two. Or three, advice I'd like to give is laugh. Laugh at the unknown. But we got in, and this gentleman just, I thought he was going to vomit right there looking at my son. And he said, "Aren't babies supposed to wear Spankies in here?" And I said, "You mean like a swim diaper?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Yes, sir. He's got them. They're under his trunks." And he goes, "Well, it doesn't look like they'd hold anything. The kid is little." I didn't say this, but I thought, yeah, he is failure to thrive. And he went and sat with his friend. And you could tell he was so thoroughly disgusted. So I picked Baby Blue up. I undid his Mickey button. And I started blowing into him, and I said, "Here, here, buddy, now you can float." And I've never seen somebody remove themselves from an awkward situation so fast in my entire life. And it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. I think the best medicine, if ever you get down or you think somebody is getting down, is to laugh about it. Genes affect everybody. Genetics affect every single person.
So he's actually missing a little piece of chromosome number 8, and he has an extra piece. So he has 3 copies instead of the usual 2 copies of chromosome number 2. And this was something, you know, that happened right at the very beginning of the pregnancy and all through the pregnancy, so that certain parts of his body were not able to form properly, and he ended up being very small and also, you know, had some of the issues that he had.
The reason it's been great for us to find out exactly our situation and about our unbalanced translocation, because it's unique to the 2 kids, and because they, especially Sandler, have multiple medical issues. They've been able to launch a research study because genetics do affect everybody, and they in turn and directly and or indirectly affect different diseases or different medical issues. We get to contribute something to medicine.
In Sandler's and Snyder's case, we have a quite interesting picture, because both children share some of the clinical problems, and others are only present in one of them. So we're asking ourselves, which genes are responsible for the presentation in either Skylar and Sandler? So part of the research is to find patients, children, adults with similar or almost identical chromosomal imbalances, compare their clinical problems, clinical presentations, and then see if the overlap in their genetic imbalances gives us an idea which genes are responsible for which particular problem, let's say growth, development, physical features, birth defects. And that's part why I'm interested in Skylar and Sandler, actually in the Chase family.
I always felt kind of strange because I'd leave there with such a feeling of hope, a little bit of sadness, but more than anything, just a feeling of perspective. You've got kids that are suffering so greatly and so immensely. They have cancer, they're hooked up to dialysis, they are riding around in wagons and they've got casts, or they can't move, or they're in wheelchairs, and very few of them aren't smiling. And then you get back into the real world, and everybody's angry, and everybody's rushing, and everybody's miserable and yelling, and most are yelling at me. And the truth is, it really gives you this effect of water off the duck's back, because when everything's in perspective, none of that matters. What matters is kids know how to smile and kids persevere, and it really is true when you are able and you are blessed with kids that allow you to see that. You couldn't ask for, there is no therapy, there's no better anything that teaches you. There's not a better teacher, there's not a better therapist, there's not a better anything that allows you to understand that kind of perspective. There are so many people in this world that also are willing to help, and we have been so lucky. Through our correspondence with emails, I got the email, I can get you this camera, but by the way, what's wrong with your kids? And right then was the big sign. I like this guy. Like, what's wrong with my kids? What isn't wrong with them? Everything is right, but everything is wrong, medically speaking. So he then explained to me that he and his wife run a camp for chronically and terminally ill children in the LA area in Southern California. Their office is in LA. It's called Dream Street Foundation. And at first I thought, oh, is this guy nuts? I'm going to send my, at the time, 5-year-old to a camp and leave her for a week by myself? Well, after I looked into this camp and I really got the details and I talked to his wife, I thought I would be the biggest idiot stick in the entire world not to send her. And we went and I packed her up, and it was so much harder for me to leave her. She looked at me, see you later, and it was so amazing. The people that put this thing together are amazing. It changed her life. We showed up and it was like a carnival. I wanted to actually stay there. It was the most amazing, amazing place. I want people to see our story and just be inspired. I want them to see there are sad times, there are hard times, there are difficult times, there are surgeries, there are trips to doctor's offices that don't always end up being the best day of news. More recently, Sandler's fatally allergic to egg, and I don't mean to laugh, but really, I mean, we carry a medical supply bag anyway. What's an EpiPen? But truthfully, it puts everything into perspective. It puts absolutely everything into perspective.
You fall into pieces every time, and I don't need no carrying on, 'cause you had a bad day, you take it one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie, you work at a smile and you go for a ride. You have a bad day, the camera don't lie, you're coming back down and you really don't mind. You had a bad day, you had a bad day. Well, you need a blue sky holiday. That your love, how it inspires me.
I was blessed with the two most amazing godparents in the entire world, Uncle Ed and Aunt Gwenny. They had gone through the death of 3 biological children. They had gone through everything, and with their amazing spirit and their amazing ability to look to each other for faith and help and things like that, they were able to get through it. And every time there was a surgery coming up or something, a trip to Denver, they were who I called, and they were the only 2 people in the entire world who were allowed to tell me, Nikki, you're only given what you can handle. The "so handle it and start laughing" comes from, that's how we handle it. That's how they taught me and helped me figure out how to handle all of the challenges and obstacles. And I dropped Bootsy off at camp this summer, and I was getting ready to leave, and I got the phone call that Uncle Ed and Aunt Gwen had been killed instantly in a car accident.
Do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize we're floating in space? Do you realize that happiness makes you cry? Do you realize that everyone you know someday will die? And instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you realize that life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning round. Do you And instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you realize that life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning round. Do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize?
You know what they say?
What?
Special people get special kids.
Uh-huh.